Well, Dragonfolk, it seems that the new Armory kit has just been spoiled over on the Flesh and Blood website, and we have a lot of awesome information about the new hero that is due to be released in Dusk Till Dawn, Vincent. Let's go ahead and talk about Vincent and check her out, see what she kind of may possibly be doing. A lot of this is going to be speculation, and maybe even what cards you might want to pick up if you wanted to play Vincent for yourself. Welcome on in, Dragonfolk. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I know I am. My name is Alex, and you are all here with me in the Dragon's Lair. Thank you guys so much for choosing to take your time today to check out our video. And hey, you know what? Feel free to subscribe if you enjoy the content as well. Always appreciative. But let's get right on into it, right? Vincent, the June Armory kit has been released and shown off because obviously next month is June. There, we will see a whole bunch of new stuff that is due to be brought in through Dusk Till Dawn. So this is almost like a spoiler season, not spoiler season thing that's happening with it, which is really, really cool, right? I like to see that we get some Armory promos before the actual set comes out, so that way people can kind of get an idea and speculate on stuff. Now, of course, as far as speculation goes, this is very, very big on the market, which we may even talk about later on in this video here. But I mainly wanted to talk about Vincent. So, Vincent was spoiled at the Pro Tour Baltimore that just happened recently, and now we have more information kind of on what she may or may not be doing in regards to her abilities. And we know that because of the cards that are coming in this Armory kit. So first and foremost, we have this picture right here. This is one of the posters that people are going to be getting for the Armory. This picture is what we all believe to be, and I'm pretty sure this is accurate. That is the adult art for Vincent. We know the young art for Vincent, but this looks like the adult art. And everybody's kind of wondering what her clothing is. Kind of covered in runes and everything like that. There's some spears poking out of it. A lot of people have made the connection to an Iron Maiden. Not sure if you guys know about the old torture device, the Iron Maiden. Not the band, but, kind of in the same, right? That seems to be what she's wearing, right? She is a disciple of pain from what we can kind of figure. And with that being the case, she's going to be using these things called rune gates to open up these amazing abilities to be able to attack you with shadow actions from the banished zone. So it's very cool to see that, right? Very happy to see that Vincent has her adult art now that we can kind of see there. And it just gets me even more excited. But it's really her weapon that gets me excited, if I'm being honest. Her weapon is what is just so special to me. And believe it or not, special to her. Because this is a Vincent specialization weapon. Which means that no other Shadow Runeblade can use this weapon. So this does kind of help. I don't know whether or not they're going to make this the case going forward in Flesh and Blood, but when you have something like a very powerful weapon that may utilize different skills in different heroes, you look at things like Rosetta Thorn, which can be used in any Runeblade hero ever can use Rosetta Thorn, which is Briar's signature weapon. But if that instead said Elemental Runeblade weapon, it would only be used for Briar, and that would have been a completely different thing. But in this case, we have Vincent's weapon, Flail of Agony. Flail of Agony is a one-handed Shadow Runeblade weapon. Not to mention a new weapon type, if I recall correctly. I'm not sure we've seen this weapon type before, a flail. I've not seen any flails ever. Then, of course, you look at the cost. Now, normally when you attack with a weapon, it does cost resources. But in this case, you need to pay 1 life in order to attack with this weapon once per turn. And if it hits, it does make a rune chant token. So I think that is super crazy that the whole thing behind Vincent is that she uses her life as a resource. And throughout Flesh and Blood, we've always talked about using your life as a resource, right? Knowing when to take hits and when to block hits and when to figure out what's going to be more detrimental and maybe you can take a little bit more damage this turn because you know you're going to go in with a crazier combo in the next turn. The fact that you are able to literally, in this case, utilize your life as a resource is going to be huge. And that's not all, right? Not only are we using life as a resource, but we are also going to be using Rune Chance as a resource. Much like any other Rune Blade, you know, we like our Rune Chance. We like to do some Rune Chanty stuff, although Briar doesn't do too many Rune Chants. Let's take a look at the other card that was spoiled for this Armory promo. That card is none other than Phantom Banshee. Phantom Banshee, you get all 3 colors available for these Armory promos in June. It's an extended art promo, and much like all the other Armory kit promos that you guys get, that we all see at our armories. But this one also tells us what rune gating is. We've talked about rune gate in the past when we originally saw Vincent. We had talked about we'd heard about rune gates and what they are in her little blurb that she got when she was spoiled at Baltimore. So now we know really what rune gating is. Rune gating is the way you're going to be able to be playing these cards from your banish zone in Vincent's deck. But the good thing is that the only thing that these rune chants do to activate any kind of rune gating is just to allow you to have the cards, the attacks and the non-attacks, I'm assuming, in your banish zone cost nothing if you have the amount of rune chants equal to the cost of that card. So for instance, for Phantom Banshee, you see Phantom Banshee costs 3, right? 3 resources to pay it for, to pay for it in the banish zone. Now, you can still play everything with rune gating from the banish zone, but it'll cost you nothing if you have the rune chants that are equal to or greater than the cost of the card. Otherwise, you're going to be paying the full cost. That does not mean that the rune chants discount the resource cost of the card, right? Phantom Banshee obviously still costs 3. If you made 2 rune chants, Phantom Banshee does not cost 1 now. Phantom Banshee still costs 3 in the banish zone, but if you do have 3 rune chants, that means that now Phantom Banshee will cost nothing to play from the banish zone, and you get to come in for a 7 power attack on a red, and then your 3 rune chants as well, which is normally how that kind of works out. So it's very cool to see that connection between the rune chants and the banish zone and really kind of mixing it together. And I'm really, really curious. I think this is kind of where a lot of speculation comes in, what we're going to see from Vincent. Now, obviously, Phantom Banshee aside, this is just one card. Sometimes the cards that they show off are not even cards that are made to be used in the deck. So don't worry, this might not be like the most busted one here, but 7 power is a lot. 7 power is a lot for this. But again, I just wanted to reiterate the fact that the rune chants do not discount the cost of the card in the banish zone. And rune gating, even if it's got rune gate on there, you can still, from what I can tell, play it from the banish zone with using its cost, right? So you can still pay 3 to attack with Phantom Banshee from the banish zone. It will just cost you a card as opposed to costing you nothing. But we do also have Blood Debt. Of course, as all Shadow stuff has, it is a Blood Debt ability. If it is in your banish zone, at the end of your turn, if you have not found a way to turn off Blood Debt, much like how Leviah can, you essentially get hurt for that amount of cards in your banish zone that have Blood Debt. Now, as somebody who we believe to be a disciple of pain and very much so, very much so seems to be about hurting themselves in order to gain an advantage into fighting others, I'm really curious as to see kind of what her hero ability is. If I'm going to be honest, I think that her hero ability is somewhere along the lines of, and this may be a little too extreme, but whenever she takes damage, you take that many cards from the top of your deck and you put them into your banish zone, rounded half of that damage rounded down. So if somebody hits you for, 6, right? You go ahead and take half of that, which is 3, right? If somebody does 11, you go ahead and round that down. That is 5.5, which is 5 And you take 5 cards from the top of your deck and you banish them. And then that way, when it's on your turn, you're able to do that there. I'm not too sure how many go again things are happening. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this is a go tall, a go tall kind of deck in Vincent, like a go tall Runeblade deck. But I think just the concept in general is very, very fun, right? Utilizing the rune chance, utilizing the health pool things. So these are cards you're going to want to look out for if you are looking for things like playing Vincent. Things like Sigil of Solace. It's a very good choice. Maybe even Healing Balm, although Sigil of Solace is the superior one. I'd pick that one up first. Sigil of Solace, Healing Balm. Maybe even Findal's Fighting Spirit. Maybe even Life for a Life. So those are like life gain cards, right? These are life gain cards. Because obviously, if you're using life as a resource, there are cards that are able to give you more life. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to work out because a lot of Runeblade stuff is not fatigue-based. It's kind of a slap everything down onto the board and win before your opponent can. But I don't know. Like, I'm curious to see. I don't think they'd make a hero strictly based around fatigue, but if it is something like, a very defensive, go tall, hurt yourself in order to benefit your abilities kind of deck, that could be very, very powerful. You do also have cards like Revel in Runeblood. The Equipment Grasp of the Arknight's probably going to be pretty important as well, simply because it does make rune chance. A lot of these cards are very, 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 spiking. They're spiking super heavy in price right now. So I would say there's one of two things you can do for this. Obviously, if you are a fan of Vincent, a fan of Shadow Runeblade, and you don't own these cards already, and you want to, you can pick them up now, or you can wait until everything is spoiled from dusk till dawn, and then pick stuff up then. Because I gotta say, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to probably play it, but there's a lot of very picky players out there right now, and all it takes is for somebody to assume that Vincent is going to be busted, buy everything in the deck, spend it's at least somewhere between $800 for all the top tier stuff for Vincent right now. Or for Shadow Runeblade more specifically. You take everything in that deck and then they go to an armory and they lose. They go 1-3 or something. And if that happens, that's usually enough for some people to just be like, oh, deck sucks, don't want it, throw it away. And they'll put it back on the market. The prices will go down if that's the case. But if Vincent is super, super busted and wins every single big tournament from this point forward, well, then this is still the chance to do that. So obviously work with whatever, budget you have. Don't go into FOMO. These cards will still exist over time. So don't go into FOMO. There will be a time in which Runeblade is nowhere near as popular, and that's always a fantastic time to pick up any kind of Runeblade stuff. But if you are in the market to pick up some stuff now and you really, really want to play Vincent when she comes out, you always can go ahead and check out TCGPlayer or anything like that to try and find cards for yourself. So let me know what your speculations are on Vincent. I'm very curious to see what kind of things that she can bring to the table. I like the fact that she is literally using her life as a resource. That is something new we haven't seen yet, and I don't know. I'm very excited to see. I'm still torn between whether or not I like Prism or Vincent. Obviously, when we know the hero powers, it's going to be a little bit different, and that's kind of where I'll choose. Luckily, I have just about everything for Prism already, so if I did want to play Prism, I have all the Light Illusionist stuff and everything of the sort, but I do not have anything for Shadow Runeblades, so it would be a little bit of a toss-up there. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about Vincent, what you guys think she may be up to, and maybe if you have any suggestions on cards to pick up for budget players who may be wanting to get into Shadow Runeblade, what should they pick up? Let me know, and feel free to also join our Patreon in the link down below in the description. It always helps out the channel a lot. We like to do nice little box breaks over there, and I do some vlogs for you guys too, so it's always a pleasure. And honestly, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Enjoy your Vincent spoiler there, and let's keep having fun in Flesh and Blood. And I'll see you all very soon. Nerd out.